Well, hello, everybody. It's another week, and we've got another snapshot. And I thought it was time that we took a tour. So we are up to 25W06A, and there is a ton of stuff that they've added in. So the first thing they've added in is new variants. So cows, pigs, and now chickens all have variants. So when you go to a warm biome, you're going to see the warm variants. So here we have some warm cows and some babies. They've got these great horns, this nice kind of reddish color, and they look fantastic. There's also warm pigs, and you can see they also have that kind of reddish color. They look super cool. And just this week, we got warm chickens. Similarly, they have a very orangey, warm color palette, and they look super cool. The warm chickens lay brown eggs, and these work just like normal eggs, where you can throw them and hatch new chickens, or you can use them in your pumpkin pie and cake recipes as well. In the cold biomes, we have cold cows, and you can see their horns are front facing and they're kind of shaggy and furry. We also have a cold variant of the pig, and similarly, they have that kind of shaggy look to them, like they're a little bit fuzzy and furry. And just this week, we got the cold chicken, a very cool gray looking chicken. They have a tail, which is different than the other chickens, and they also have this kind of sweeping feather crest on their heads, which is really interesting. The cold chickens lay blue eggs, and again, these work just like normal eggs in all your recipes and all that. Besides all of the animal variants, we also got a lot of new vegetation. One thing we got was the wildflowers. These work a lot like the pink petals, where you can kind of put 4 of them on a block and kind of arrange them however you like. And they just sort of pop up in different forests, and they look really great. They add a lot of life and color to the forests. Some other types of forests get something called leaf litter. And again, these work similarly, where you can place 4 of them in any pattern you want, kind of vary things. These can be placed on a lot of different types of blocks. It doesn't have to be just the dirt types anymore. And I think they look great. They really add a lot of life and clutter to the forest to make it look much more organic. In addition to leaf litter and wildflowers, we got a couple of bushes. One of them is just called the bush, and it's a nice little bit of vegetation. And you can place these kind of wherever there's dirt or dirt type blocks. You can bone meal them, and they sort of spread a lot like glow lichen does. And similar to grass, they change their shade of green based on the biome that they're in. The other type of bush you can find along the water line, although they don't need to be planted by water. These are called the firefly bush. You can see they have a really nice animated texture. And at night, they do a couple of things. One is they make a sound, sort of a little buzzing sound. And then they also emit firefly particles. Now, the particles are not day-night dependent, they're just dark dependent. So if you take the firefly bush and you put it under a block so that it's dark, even if it's daytime, it'll start emitting these particles. And it's really cool if you get a bunch of them going, because they all kind of pile up on top of each other and really stack up. And it looks awesome. The buzzing is really, really subtle. But yeah, it just sounds like little bugs. Something else that now makes sound is the desert. If you get a clump of sand or a clump of terracotta, you'll get these little dry, sandy, windy sounds that happen. Again, they're very subtle, but they add just a little bit of atmosphere. Switching back to plants, there's a couple of new things. One is we have short and tall dry grass. The tall is about 1 block tall, and the short is about a half a block tall. So a little bit different than our regular grass. And then there's something called a cactus flower. As the cactus grows, there is a chance that it will get a flower on the top. These can be harvested with just a punch, and you can turn these into pink dye. The dry grass can be found in most warm biomes, and again can be placed on most dirt-type blocks, sand, things like that. They added falling leaves, so as you're walking through the forest, you'll occasionally see a leaf sort of float down to the ground, and it really makes it feel much, much more alive and much more immersive. And last but not least, they changed the lodestone recipe. It used to be that you would do chiseled stone like this and then put a netherite ingot, and that would give you the lodestone. So it was a really difficult and expensive block. But now it's just an iron ingot, and you get what is, in my opinion, one of the best looking blocks in the game. It's also really cool that you can tap a compass on it, and the compass will point you to this lodestone. So you can use this for mini games, treasure hunts, all kinds of cool stuff. And it's almost like we got a new block because this was so inaccessible before. They've, of course, fixed all kinds of bugs and done a lot of under-the-hood changes, which is going to be really great for the modding community. And who knows, they might add more features. They added in a new category called barnyard animals, and they classified chickens and cows and pigs as this type, which allowed them to do the variants. I'm not sure if there's any other mobs that would count as barnyard animals, but we'll see what they do. The new mobs just make it so much more interesting. All of the little environmental changes, the new plants, it's all very, very, very cool. But I want to know what you think. Leave me a comment, let me know what your favorite feature is. And that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. If you want to be like these folks and help support the channel, scan the code on the screen. And thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.